Hi Stampin' friends. Tonight we're going to use the Flowering Tulips stamp set and bundle. It's kind of funny, I always mess these up. It's like tulip fields, flowering tulips, something about tulips. Anyway, I think it is a good set because it has so many sentiments in it. It really can cover all of your sentiment needs for, it's great for a new stamper. It has a thank you, no one deserves a happier birthday than you, happy Mother's Day, love you so much, just thinking of you today, and then let today be the start of something new. So I think that is a lot of great sentiments. Then it also has a ton of dies and stamps that you can use in a variety of different ways. Here are the dies. You can see here, there's just a ton of them. And then the stamps I still have on the block so that I can show them to you. So what I've done is basically plan a card with the stamps and a card with the dies. And then I want to show you a couple of other things to just kind of help you put together your dies once they're cut. If you're not using, there are dies that cut out the stamps and then there are separate dies. So if that makes sense. Let's get started. Okay. So one thing I did to make it easier for me when I was working, I put the stamp sets or the stamp pieces, because this is a two-step stamping situation. I put the two that go together like this so that I could find them. So that was one thing that I did. And this little die is one, I'm going to show you how I stamp this. It's pretty simple, but you know I'm going to make a mistake. So I wanted to show you this first. I did this like most red tulips I remember, which is red with a yellow inside and then black dots. I just colored the inside with a regular Stampin' Right marker. I'm assuming that blends would be even more beautiful, but this is just kind of how I think of red tulips. Then I used this other die piece here. I think this probably would look better had I done this with using these die cut pieces, because then it would kind of have looked a little more cohesive. I still think it's not too bad with this, and what I would like to do here now is put a few random, let me go ahead and show you that, because I mean it doesn't make sense if I'm just telling you about it, to just put a few random tiny basic rhinestones. So like just putting a few in those little spots, there's almost like playing tic-tac-toe. But to just put 3 or 4 of the small ones in that general area, I think kind of adds to it, especially when we're talking about using it with the stamp like this. So this I just layered on these, this cute little edge piece, rectangle die. And then I would probably layer it then on the old olive, which is what I used here. Actually, what's funny about this, I was going to use my Pear Pizzazz, and it was darker than my old olive because I had re-inked it recently. So I'll have to get that figured out. I may have to kind of daub some of it off with a paper towel or something because it was a little much. But the color I used is Poppy Parade for the red. But then I used just Flirty Flamingo for the other to give it, and let's see if you can see that there, so that I could show some difference between the two colors. Yes, this is a cutout, Connie. It is, comes with it. This is the piece that cuts out this little grid. It's just something, to me, I wanted to use it to show you all because it's so different than anything we've done before, but I do think I should have probably used it with die cuts for the tulip as well. So let's do a little bit of stamping with this. We'll see how this turns out for me. I may have a mess, but we will give it a try. I also did some die cuts you can see over here, and I'll show you those in just a moment. Okay, so what I did was just get out all of the pieces that I wanted to try and show you. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is stamp my tulips. So I've got the big tulip, the open, I guess you'd say, tulip over here. Okay, so now on this one, to help me know which one that I feel like should be the darker color, there's one of these that turns, I don't think I'm going to be able to show you. I know I can. I can see it anyway. That one has a circle in the middle. So to me, that's the one I would stamp, excuse me, with a darker color. And then this one doesn't have it in the middle. And so I was using that with the light one. But that's just what I did. I mean, I think it would probably look great the other way as well. So let me go ahead and stamp one of those. And then one of these. And now to line this up, I'm sure it's not going to be quite right on here, but if I was not feeling like I was being watched, it would be a really simple one to line up because it has little notches that fit almost, well, not precisely, but really well in the spot. So I'm sure I won't do it right while you're watching, but anyway, you see what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a little off, but okay, so then I'm going to basically do the same thing with the slightly smaller tulip, or the tulip that I would say is not quite full blown yet. So I'm going to do the large piece in this there, and then I'm going to put the lighter one here. This is like a little heart-shaped kind of a fill-in, and it goes right in this spot here. So there you can see it just kind of makes a, kind of like a little batch of layers. And then I'm looking for the other tiny one, and I'm not seeing, but I know I have another one that needs this little guy. Okay, well, we'll just use the same one twice. It should be fine. I don't know if I knocked it in the floor or what I did. So, but I can definitely see there was one because I can see it over here. Luckily, you know, we have these guys inside here, and I can see that I am indeed missing one. Okay, so then I'm going to put this one a little lower as if it has not yet fully bloomed. So I did that. And then I'm just going to tap, to kind of put it a little to the side and do it like that. And you can see, I mean, this is a pretty forgiving stamp set because, yeah, it's not really going to matter what you do. So now I'm just going to get my, oh no, that's so saffron. I want to get crushed curry and use it for the center here. There we go. And then there's a little piece, and that may be where, oh, that's where the other one went, right there on the back of this one. I'm going to use this black, and this is for the little, I don't know, pistils, I guess, for the inside. Just going to stamp that on there like that. I'm going to show you how, just to put the black on the inside as if you can see the inside. And then I'm going to take my old olive and I'm going to use my stems, and I'm just going to stamp some stems on here. So I'm trying not to get it over the red, but I'm not going to worry about it if I do. And this one here will not be quite long enough, but I think I'll be able to cover it up with some leaves. Okay, so there is kind of how that turned out. To me, this one also looks kind of like a poppy. So if you needed a poppy for something, like if you were in the UK, that would be cute as well. So now I'm going to use the larger of the two leaves. This one is almost 3 inches. This one's more like 2. So I'm going to use this larger one. And you can, in my opinion, you can turn this both ways. You can have it go this way on one and that way on the other, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put this here. And then kind of do some of the same things. I'm just going to put this over on this side. And then stamp again, kind of outside of that. Oh, it looks like no, I didn't catch an edge. I didn't quite stamp it. There we go. That was very forgiving. You can hardly tell that I was a crazy person with that. Then I'm just going to stamp this one a little bit off the edge there. And then the same over here, little off the edge. Now I'm going to get my smaller piece. This might be a good point at which if you wanted to use the darker color, to use the darker color on here. Just going to do that. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. And let's see, just kind of to make it look, I'm going to go ahead and get the Pear Pizzazz, which is darker, and put a few of these in there. Because to me, this looks like the way I typically plant my tulips, which is kind of in a clump all together. Okay, I feel like I've put enough leaves for an army on there. I better stop. And so at this point, you could cut out like the way I did on this one and layer it onto maybe this piece, you know, cut it smaller, cut it down to where it fits that. Or you could just take it and put it on our piece here, just, you know, on our regular. Add some ribbon and add a sentiment, and then you're pretty well done. Like if you used a Poppy Parade type ribbon, it would be really pretty to put this. This is actually, well, it's got a spot. Hold on one second. I have these little adhesive erasers for that. And just say, no one deserves a happier birthday than you. So I think that that makes a cute little card. And you saw that it really didn't take me very long to make the card. So I feel like, you know, it's a reasonable amount of time allowance for that. All right. So then on this one, here is this pretty little paper. I'm just gonna go ahead and put up my inks now. Now, of course, I don't mean to say that that was the be-all end-all of what you can do with inks, because I think you could do a lot with red and yellow, because, you know, a lot of times we have those yellow tulips that are edged in red and things like that. But I just, you know, want to be mindful of your time, because, and leave something for you to try, of course. Okay, so this is my favorite of the papers, because you know me and blue and peach and pink and those kind of colors. So this one has a tiny thin, the dies have a tiny thin stem that you can use. And then they also have these smaller, thicker stems. And I used both Old Olive and Pear Pizzazz on that. And you can see here that both the Old Olive and the Pear Pizzazz look great with this paper. So I wanted to show you this, just to kind of, this would be cute, like if you didn't do this, to just finish your card with something like this. Line the back with white. I'm probably not making this make sense, but do it like this. Make that just the edge. And put that along the bottom here. And that would be really super cute to just make that. You could also then make the edge, make this on the edge of your card. You'll cut your card and use, I would suggest, use the clear acetate. To use the clear acetate and make it into an edge where this is what really, really shows. Then, okay, the next thing I wanted to show you was these pieces. Now, there are a lot of different ways to put these together. In my opinion, people are like, oh, this is how you do it. I'm not really sure that I agree, because I kind of think that for me, putting this piece on the front gives it a tulip look, no matter how you've done the rest of it. But it's, again, all up to you. So what they suggest, that this piece is like a little piece that tucks inside these other pieces. So like this one is suggested to just fold over like this, and then you glue it down. And then I would put this piece on the outside, but they suggest you put the piece on the inside. So you can, I hope you're able to see that like that. I'm going to do one in a minute that will definitely be easier to see, because I'm going to use our blending brushes to put some color on white. And I think that'll make it even easier to see. But that is one little shape. Then another shape is this one, like this. So you can see how it just kind of curves up, and then you tuck this piece inside to make another flower shape. Now, to me, I would then put one of these guys on the front. Let's see if I've got that where you can see it, for an even nicer, thicker kind of a look there. So that's just my opinion. And then this one you can use with this piece as well, where it just kind of folds over like that and kind of looks like a brand new tulip. And then, whoops, I got it upside down there. And then maybe you would just put this guy either inside or on top, like it's just budding out. So that's that one. So then what I would do with this, I'm not going to have you watch me glue these together because that could get a little bit tedious, but I think you can imagine me putting these together on this pretty paper and then just adding some stems here and there. Do the tall one here, maybe I guess on the biggest one, and then some of the shorter ones here. Like that, and then just add these little die cuts through here like this, and like that. And of course you can stamp each individual piece and cut it out, of course, but I just kind of wanted to show you some different ways of doing it to allow you to either use the stamp set or the dies as an option. Then here is the Just Thinking of You Today sentiment, and it has been cut with the ornate frames, those small little frames that we had from Halloween a while back that are still in the annual catalog. And so I think that like nicely balances this, and then maybe just our white crinkle ribbon that we have, I think could be just a small bow of it, could be really cute on the side. So I know this is a little hard to see since I didn't glue them together, but I wanted to be mindful of your time. You could also form these into a bouquet and then tie it with a bow. That's another possibility that I may have to try. Okay, so you could either put that over here by your sentiment, or you could just put it over to the side, maybe on beside one of your flowers, just to kind of balance things out. So there is another option. And what I wanted to do with these pieces was just use our pink blending brush and maybe our polished pink, and add some color. Let me use this one so I can control how much I get. I'm going to go ahead and bend these so that I can see what I'm doing. And by bend, I mean just go ahead and curve them toward the inside like that on the score lines that are made by cutting it. So you can see that. Okay. See if I can get it light enough. All right, so I did that really lightly. I just kind of barely put pink on the ends. And I'm going to do the same on these. Trying to keep the white on the inside and just put pink on the edges. Oh, I got too much on that one. That's too bad. I'll go ahead and put a little too much on the other side so it looks like it goes together. So the same on this one. And there is also, I don't know if you can see, there is some little, I don't know if you call it a depression, but there is some texture to these that make them look more like a tulip. There, I'm just putting that on there like that. A little bit more pink. And then I'm going to do the same over here. I want to get it, I'm going to go ahead and turn these over because I want to get a little bit on each of these edges here. But you could do the same thing with this, with the yellow, using a kind of a darker red, and I think that would be gorgeous as well. All right, so you could just tuck this in here, like that. See if I can get this where you can see it. Oh, that wasn't the one I was supposed to tuck in there, it's this one. There we go. And then maybe a little tuck right there. So let me put this on white here. Maybe that'll help you see the pink. So there, now you can see I just put a little bit of pink color on there. Like a lot of times the ones that I'm trying to make this look like have little striations of color down the petals. But there's that one. And then this one I did the same way. Just want to tuck this inside. This is one of the smaller ones. There we are. This one I got a little tiny bit too much stuff on. Now one thing I'm going to do before I even try to stick these down is on these that seem to be trying to come up, I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder to just try to mash those down ahead of time, because I think that will help them to stick before I put my adhesive on, which I will use the Mono Multi green capped glue for that. And then here's my last one. And you can see how that one looks. So I will be putting this together, maybe one like this, and then using these white ones, maybe on some solid pieces of paper. And then this one has the "You are so thoughtful," and then says "thank you" in the middle. I cut that out with one of the other circle dies, and so I think that would be really pretty with these white ones, just to kind of really make that pop nice and delicate. And then we made this one, and then we made this one with just kind of a plain look. And then we made this one where I may have overdone it and put the grid in here and some rhinestones. So we'll have to see how that one turns out whenever I'm completely finished. Thank you all for watching and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.